What's good, y'all? It's your boy BioSpider 3.0, keeping the action going with the Spider-Man retro card, Marvel Legends, Gwen Stacy. All right, here we are, man. So yes, I did get her out of the package. Had some time to pose her around. Pretty dope figure. She's not like impressive or anything in the posing department, but aesthetics-wise, she gets the job done. She does represent, her comic character very, very well in figure form. A lot of nice, paint work and sculpt work going on with this figure, and she comes with some really nice accessories. So yeah, you can see I got her right here on the turntable. So let's waste no time. Let's get her spinning around here, and then we will take a closer look. But yes, she is a very, very nice looking figure, I have to say. Does a very, very good job of representing, again, her, how she looks in the comics. um, I was a little like iffy about the face sculpt just when I was comparing it to what was on the package, which of course is like how she's supposed to look in the comics. But it is a nice head sculpt, don't get me wrong. And I think it overall does do a good job of having the likeness or resemblance to the comic character. It is a very nice head sculpt. Oddly enough, though, I found myself almost liking the Mary Jane head sculpt on the body like a little bit more, which I found that very surprising because um, this is such a classic outfit for Gwen that I didn't think it was gonna really work for Mary Jane. Mary Jane usually wears a different style than Gwen here, but for some reason, once I put the Mary Jane head on, I actually did like it a lot on this particular body. I thought it actually did work very well, to the point where I almost liked it more than the Gwen head. But yeah, we'll see all that in just a minute here. So we'll get her coming around maybe one more full time so that you get your 360 look. All right, and we'll go ahead and stop her right there. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and take her off the stand. We'll push this aside, and let's see. Matter of fact, let's cover the accessories first. So I'm gonna put Gwen to the side here. We'll look at the accessories, and then we'll take a closer look at her. So she does come with some very nice, accessories. Very, comic-esque accessories. Like these could definitely come in handy for like picks and whatnot. So she does have this nice light blue binder. Very, very cool. It's a nice, light blue binder with a good sculpt on it. Not too much detail. Could have maybe benefited from like a little bit of a wash or something, but it does have a nice sculpt. So you can see there's like a little flap kind of sculpted up there, like a little button or whatever where it would kind of like snap. And then in the middle there you have like the inside where you could kind of see like where the papers would go folded and everything. That looks pretty cool. And yeah, not too much to it, really just like a square, basically like a blue square with some little divots and things sculpted into it, but it does look very nice. And thank goodness we actually have good lighting today. A lot of good natural light is coming through, thankfully. I'm shooting this at a pretty good time, so we should be able to have no problem seeing details and whatnot. And then she does also come with this Midtown High School, I guess, yearbook or something. I don't know if this, I'm assuming this is like a yearbook, because I don't see her carrying any other book that would just randomly say Midtown, her school name on it. But yeah, Midtown High School, very nicely printed there. Screen printed paint that looks really, really clean came out. And then the burgundy or kind of maroon color for the book itself looks really nice. Again, might have benefited from a wash, a little bit of a wash or something. But, as is, not too bad. Looks pretty good. Really not much to it. Like I said, the inside is kind of just filled in with plastic, but it looks good. It gets the job done. So she's able to carry around that yearbook or whatever this is supposed to be. It's got a little bit of black scuffage back here, as you can see on the back of the book, but I don't mind that. I think that actually kind of helps, give it some character or make it look like it's, a real book. Maybe got like a little bit of wear and tear to it, but yeah, she does come with that little piece, so that's cool. And then she does also have a Daily Bugle newspaper, which was in her hand, so I'm gonna slide it out so you guys can see that. And yeah, she does come with this Daily Bugle newspaper, which is, I think, a really cool accessory. Very, very cool. You could definitely use this for like Spider-Man figures as well, or Peter Parker. I guess that would make more sense. Daily Bugle papers, so maybe she's reading the paper, trying to find out what Spidey's been up to lately. Very, very cool. And again, the letters are printed out very, very nice on it. A little symbol in the middle there. Very, very nice. And just kind of like a off-white, kind of grayish plastic for the newspaper. Looks very, very good. And you can see it's kind of like rolled up there. But yeah, nice, very nice sculpt to it, and she can hold it very easily in the kind of more gripping hand that she has out of the package. And last but not least, she does come with a Mary Jane head, as I mentioned previously. And this is actually a really nice Mary Jane head as well. I like how they handled both of these head sculpts, to be honest. One thing I really like about this Mary Jane head sculpt is that they did give her a black wash throughout the hair, and it does make, you know, all the difference. It really does put some nice depth into her hair. You can see like all the strands and whatnot. It looks really, really nice with that black wash going through it. Very, very nice. Just adds so much to the hair, so much volume, and just makes the overall sculpt look that much better. And the face sculpt itself is very nice. You know, the paint for the lips, the nose, the eyes, the eyebrows. You know, she's a redhead. She's got her red eyebrows, her green eyes. You know, classic comic Mary Jane head sculpt. So very, very nicely done. And I do like this one quite a lot. I think this one will probably look good on the 2-pack Mary Jane. You know, the one that comes with the Spider-Man, which I will be reviewing at some point on the channel. And then in that video, we'll see if we can do a head swap with that Mary Jane body. But I'm thinking it should work. I'm thinking, you know, because most of the Hasbro ball pegs tend to be pretty universal at this point, at least around this time. So that is good. But bringing Gwen back in, main star of the day, all right? And yes, this is a very, very nice looking Gwen. I love the classic outfit. You know, this is straight out of the comics, man. So, you know, the whole green jacket, the black undershirt, the purple skirt, and then the black boots look very, very good. Love the sculpt on everything. You know, her jacket has some very nice like wrinkle work in there, and then this little kind of brown strap going around and like through the loops in the back. That looks really, really nice. And it is made, these straps are made of like a soft plastic, so they're kind of pliable. They're not like bendy, they don't have like bendy wire or anything, so you can't like really pose them or anything, but they do have a very nice, you know, pliable soft plastic and you know, feel to them, so you can kind of like move them around. And they do hang like very nicely at her sides. So yeah, it looks really good. And then yeah, just all the sculpt work, like the wrinkles in her, you know, her jacket and the sleeves and, you know, everywhere just looks really, really nice. You know, and it looks like, you know, natural wrinkles or whatever. It doesn't look like her jacket is like unironed or something, right? Like she just has a very like wrinkly jacket on. This looks like, you know, natural wrinkles that would fall in a jacket once you put it on. And yeah, it just looks really good. Her hair sculpt as well is pretty nice. She doesn't really have a wash going on in hers like the Mary Jane head, but it is still very nice. Very nice yellow color there. And the sculpt is at least very good. As far as I can tell, I mean, there might be a slight wash in there. I don't know. I don't think it's a black wash, but I don't know. Maybe there could be like a very subtle brown wash or something, but it's definitely not as heavy as you know, we saw on the Mary Jane head. That's for sure. But yeah, looking at her head sculpt, again, a very nice comic looking Gwen Stacy. I do like it a lot. You have the she has like pretty bright pink lips. I just noticed that they're almost like highlighter pink lips, but you know, I like that. You know, it does help the lips stand out right against the rest of the sculpt, which is nice. And then I think Gwen was always, is she blue-eyed or brown-eyed? I'm pretty sure Gwen has blue eyes, I think, in the comics. I'll have to go back and check on that. Obviously, Emma Stone, who played Gwen Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man, she had blue eyes. So I'm assuming Comic Gwen also has blue eyes, but I have to go back to be sure about that. But yeah, very very nice, clean paint work. It's nice and sharp around the eyes. Like all the facial features, honestly, look really good. The nose and the sculpt does feel very similar to Mary Jane, but also like different enough to be a different character. So that's nice. And then she obviously has brown eyebrows. She's not a redhead, right? She's a blonde. Um, or she probably dyes her hair a little bit. It's probably not this blonde. She's probably like a brunette really, but she probably maybe dyes her hair. And then she's got the black kind of band going across the top of her head, which looks pretty cool, across her hair there, and that looks pretty nicely done. Paintwork is pretty clean, just almost everywhere throughout. You can see like a little bit of paint imperfection there, maybe a little bit of mist black, but no biggie. She does look very very good on each side. So there's your little profile look. But yeah, aesthetically she looks great, man. I really do like this. I like the body that they chose for her. I think it looks very very good, very natural, very feminine. Looks like a woman, so that's good. But yeah, so that's pretty much it as far as her aesthetic. Let's go ahead and get into play and display. All right, some articulation action. Oh, I wanted to mention also real quick, I do like that her undershirt has some texturing on it. Hopefully you guys are able to see it on camera here, but she does have like some nice, yeah, if I hold it in the light, you can kind of see like the textured lines going through the undershirt. It really does like have like it's smooth, but it's like kind of like a raised fill of her shirt. And yeah, it really adds a little bit to the figure, the overall aesthetic of her undershirt there. That looks pretty cool. So that's very nice. And then the skirt is pretty much just like a flat. There's no like texture or anything like that. Same thing with the jacket, but it is nice that the undershirt at least has like some texture into it. Kind of looks like a turtleneck material. So that's pretty cool, like a little tunic or something. So that's nice. But getting into play and display, we'll start with her head articulation, of course. So she is on a ball peg and a hinge. Now, I'm not a fan of this ugly hinge in her neck because it is, pretty noticeable, kind of a bit of an eyesore, honestly. But, it is what it is. But, let's see. So she can at least look up with that hinge. She's going to be restricted just because of the hair sculpt. It is going to run into her body. So she's not going to be able to look up all that much, unfortunately. It is like a hard sculpt, so it's not going to really give any bend or give to it. But she can look down pretty decently, in that with that ball peg and that hinge. If you really push it all the way, she can tuck her chin in like perfectly. And that's funny when she does that. It kind of gives her hair that, excuse me, that windswept look. It looks like there's a lot of wind like blowing her hair up. So that's kind of funny there. Yeah, the hair sculpt is cool. One thing I will mention is that when her head is like kind of like in just like a regular forward, like looking straight position, her hair tends to not really be flush with like her back, so it always kind of looks like there's like wind or something blowing her hair like away from her back. So just be aware that that's something that might show up if you're like planning to do photography or something, is that her hair is not going to be perfectly against her back from certain angles. So yeah, the Mary Jane head is a lot better because when she's looking straight, the hair just like rests perfectly aligned like with her back. But so yeah, I just wanted to point that out real quick. But anyways, back to articulation. She can lean a little bit side to side. She does have some head tilt on that ball peg, so that's nice. And of course, she can do a 360. Of course, the hair is going to get in the way, so you're going to have to kind of like move it. But you can rotate the head all the way around like that. You can raise her arms up and out. Or yeah, arms go straight up. She is going to have like a pretty noticeable ball right there, like the ball hinge is going to be sticking out a lot when you raise the arm all the way up, but it is what it is. She is able to get some pretty nice range though going upwards, so I do like that a lot. She can get a Y pose and with her hand sculpt like this, it actually like makes her look very majestic. almost like a ballerina or something when she does that, but that's pretty cool. So you can get those hands nice and high, and then the arms, and then she doesn't have a bicep swivel. You know, most of the Marvel Legends females tend to not have bicep swivels, thinner arm, but she can at least kind of like, you could still rotate the arm a little bit technically in and out, but it's not much. It definitely doesn't give you the same range as if she were to have like a bicep swivel, so it is a little bit restricted there, so be aware of that. She does have a single jointed elbow, as most females do. Alright. Most female Marvel Legends figures usually only have a single joint for the elbow, but it does get you at least a 90 degrees, maybe a little bit better. So that's good. Coming back out. And then yeah, you can swivel from that same elbow hinge joint. You can spin the arm, the forearm all the way around. She does have a hinge in the hands, so you can move her hands kind of like up and down. It's a horizontal hinge, so it's going to move like, yeah, in and out. And depending on which way you orient it, she can have her hand going up or down like that. So that's cool. And then out to the side, yeah, we already looked at that. Arms can obviously come forward pretty decently, no butterfly joint, but they can come straight forward nice. And then you can always, if you want to cross her arms a little bit, you can just use the elbow joint. She gets some good range across the body as well, so that's pretty nice. And then that hinge joint, yeah, so that's like forward, as far as she goes forward with that hinge. As far as going backwards, she goes about that much, which is pretty decent considering she doesn't have a butterfly joint. So that is pretty nice there. All right, pretty nice range. I'll take it. Obviously a full windmill 360 on that ball. And she does have a cup for a upper diaphragm joint. It allows her to get a little bit of leaning to each side, not much, but just a little bit. I mean, she doesn't need to do anything crazy, right? She's not Spider-Man, but she does have a little bit of range for leaning side to side. Can move just a little, you know, get a little bit of wiggle on that upper diaphragm joint. As far as leaning forward, doesn't give her too much on that upper joint. Leaning backwards, again, only a little bit, very limited. As far as like the bottom, I can't tell if this is all one piece, the lower torso, like, oops, got some stuff on her shirt, but like from like the lower torso to her skirt, I don't know if that's all one piece or not. It kind of looks like it is though. It looks like it's like molded together, but I think she does, I'm pretty sure this is like a double ball peg setup. So I think if you use, yeah, like her lower waist joint, she's able to crunch a lot farther like that. So that's good. And leaning backwards, she's able to get about, you know, that much. Definitely better than, you know, having the upper joint alone, so that's cool. All right, so there's that. She's got some, you know, waist twist, so she can twist side to side, no problem. For the legs, she can't really kick up much just because this skirt piece is a hard piece. It's not super flexible, so she's really not going to be able to get her leg up very high. Like only that, you know, if anything. Going backwards, again, not a lot, but, you know, not too bad. She at least has double jointed knees though, so she can kick her heels basically up to her lower back almost, so that's good. She does have a thigh swivel cut under there. I know, sorry miss, I gotta show this for articulation. She does have a thigh swivel cut right under there, so you do have swivel in the thighs. As far as out to the side, for some reason on this side, she's not going to be able to go. Well, it's because like they molded it as the skirt as one piece on this side. On this side, for some reason, they decided to give her a slit in the skirt. So on this side, her right leg can kick out, you know, about that far to the side. But the left leg doesn't go out to the side at all because of the sculpt. And then you have a hinge in the foot that allows the foot to go down all the way to the heels there. Kicks up that much, which is pretty decent. Okay. And for some reason, no real ankle pivot. I mean, just slightly, but it's like almost not enough to even count it. But she has very limited like ankle swivel or pivot, so you're not really getting much there. But yeah, that's basically her articulation there. So yeah, obviously, like I said, limited. She doesn't do too much in the way of articulation, but then again, we don't really expect her to. She's not a heroic character or anything. She's just a regular human being. So yeah, she's not going to be doing like gymnastic level poses or anything like that. But she does get the job done. She looks very nice. Like I said, a very nice representation of what we had in the comics. And so yeah, very very nice figure overall. I do like it. I'm pleased to have it in my collection. I needed a Gwen Stacy, man. Whether it be comic or live action, I really needed a Gwen Stacy in the collection. I never had one, so she's gonna look great next to my Spidey figures. Speaking of which, let's get into size comparisons so we can see just how she scales with other Spideys. All right, and Peter Parker. So first up, we have the Maximum Spider-Man. All right, on this side. Back this up a little bit more. Get this out the way. Sorry about that. And on her other side, let's bring in for a Mayfex comparison the Amazing Spider-Man 2 No Way Home Spider-Man with a head sculpt from Fall Rule. And I think that looks really, really nice. I think she scales very, very good with them. She definitely should be a little bit shorter than each one, which she is. I think her and the Maximum look really, really nice. Got the nice comic vibes going here. And then if you wanted to do live action with a little comic, crossover, that would look pretty cool. Yeah, love how those look together. That is awesome. All right, so next up we got, let's get her next to some ladies for another Mayfex. We got the Ahsoka, Mayfex Ahsoka with an SHF head on. And then let's bring her with the MCU MJ, Michelle Jones. This is the Homecoming release. Alright. I think that looks pretty good. She's scaling nicely with those ladies. And MJ is pretty tall. Zendaya's about like 5'10", so she should be taller than these two. So that looks pretty good to me. Let's bring in the retro card Peter Parker with the Maximum head sculpt on. And for a villain, we'll bring in Mysterio. Recently reviewed Mysterio. I think that looks pretty good. She's scaling nicely with each of them. Very, very nice. Like the height differences. That looks good. For a Toy Biz, we'll do the McFarlane Spider-Man and the Sinister Six box set Green Goblin. And nice that we got some matching color schemes here going on, the purple and green. All right, so that's kind of cool. Her and the Goblin there. So that looks pretty good. Nice height comparisons there. She fits right in with the two of them. Another Marvel Legends. Let's bring in the infamous Black Cat. All right. Another, Spidey love interest or fling. And for Toy Biz, let's bring in this Spider-Man 1 figure. All right. And she scales pretty nice with the both of them as well. So that looks good. For a Lightning collection, we have the Quantum Ranger custom. And for a Mattel, we have the Kryptonian Command Key Superman. And that looks pretty good. Nice scaling there. Cool. Alright. And last but not least, for a Black Series, we have the Phase 1 Clone Trooper. One more Toy Biz, we have the Fantastic Four Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. This is the one with the bendy attachments. She looks pretty good with both of them. Cool. And for one more Marvel Legends, we have the Integrated Suit Peter and the Red Hulk Build-A-Figure Wave Black Suit Spider-Man. she scales pretty nice with them. I don't have any McFarlanes with me on hand, but obviously she would be a lot shorter than them because those are 7-inch scale. But yeah, that's going to do it. That's going to be my review, guys. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment down below. Let me know about the figure. Do you have it in your collection? Do